Hey guys, and welcome to this. This is LK Live Extra for the 3rd of March 2021. I just finished my recording of the day, done my 4 podcasts, and I was just closed my laptop. I was like, I'm going to go on my phone out at my leisure time. And there I am, and I'm scrolling on my Facebook, my personal Facebook page, and then I come across a news article, a pro wrestling news article that linked to a Twitter page from the Mat Men Pro Wrestling podcast on the Twitter machine. And it states, hearing from a very reliable source, that NXT will be moving to Tuesdays starting on the 14th of April. And it should be announced fairly soon. Now, I've never heard of the Mat Men Pro Wrestling podcast, so I don't know if this source is legit. Dave Meltzer responded to these comments, saying this was definitely a topic of discussion in WWE Quarters on 24th of February, but at least at that point it was not final. So he's kind of not confirming nor denying it, kind of playing this role of, if it happens, I said it did, and if it doesn't, I said it didn't, typical journalist stuff, journalist 101, fair play to the guy. But yeah, I looked, and apparently this Mat Men Pro Wrestling podcast is actually quite popular. Shows how much I know. And it's good news if you're an AEW fan. And if you're an AEW fan, obviously everyone bigs this All Elite Wrestling and WWE's NXT and this big battle, and there's the split fans, fans who watch AEW every week, fans who watch NXT, and they battle back and forth on the Twitter machine, on the Instagrams and the Facebook. It's all, kind of weird, but it is how it is. But I gotta say, I think that's a good plan. Obviously, it sucks if you're Impact Wrestling. They've worked hard to kind of rebuild and double their audience. Back up to 200,000 viewers each week on Access TV on Tuesday nights, to now have NXT come bombard on there. That's not really good news, but it makes sense because obviously the USA Network and something about NHL hockey. Obviously, I live here in the UK. It doesn't really affect because it'll be on BT Sport regardless. But even in America, something about hockey and the CBS Sports station shutting down or something along those lines. I cannot remember at the time, but there was talks of NXT potentially moving, as Uncle Davey Boy said there. But I think it'd be good for NXT because at the minute, AEW's doing roughly 600 to 800,000, NXT 500 to 700,000. In reality, those people who are watching NXT are hardcore wrestling fans and would be watching AEW if NXT wasn't on. So if you add, say, half of that audience being 250,000, that now takes you over 1 million for AEW. It'll be 800,000, add the 250, 1 million. And it's the same for NXT. Out of those AEW fans, say there's 800,000 people who watch AEW of an average every single week. Half of those people, I reckon, if given the opportunity to watch NXT live, if AEW Dynamite wasn't on, would watch it because they're hardcore wrestling fans. So NXT could go from 500,000 and bump it up. I say focus on building NXT the brand rather than just trying to decline the numbers of AEW Dynamite. That's the only reason NXT's still on Wednesdays, because they've got their ass kicked in this war. The only reason they're there is to prevent the big AEW Dynamite numbers. But guess what? AEW's not on Monday nights. They're not going head to head with Vince. This is NXT's developmental NXT is WWE's developmental territory. It's third tier brand. Okay, it's where the guys go to get seasoned, and let's focus on that rather than focusing on beating Dynamite every week. Let's focus on the actual wrestling and building stories, building characters that can progress and go up and move up to Monday Night Raw, move up to Friday Night SmackDown. That's what I want to see. And NXT going to Tuesday nights is great because then they could have on Mondays on Raw, they could have clips and say coming on Tuesday, lots of different stuff. So either way, I think NXT moving to Tuesday nights is better for NXT because the numbers of like 550 to 600,000, sometimes 650, 700. If they go to Tuesday night, I reckon they can bump up to 800, 900, push 1 million post a takeover. Because of the simple fact that AEW, they're stealing each other's audiences. They're basically cutting their audience in half, because the people who'd watch NXT are now going, I want to watch NXT, but Dynamite's been good, so I'm going to watch Dynamite. And then the people who watch Dynamite sometimes they're like, but NXT's been good recently, I'm going to check out NXT and then watch AEW on demand. So I think it could be really beneficial for AEW particularly to not have NXT against them. What can AEW do without competition? Alright, because ever since they've been there's competition. So what could AEW Dynamite do without NXT being on at the exact same time slot? Does that 800,000 now add that 500,000, that 600,000, take you up to 1.4? You know, and when you talk about 1.4 million people, that's a big fucking number. That's a big deal. That's, you know, a threat. Not a threat to the point where I don't like this talk of ratings war. I just want to see wrestling companies do good numbers. That's all I want. That's literally all I want to see. I want to see wrestling shows, no matter if you're WWE, AEW Impact, NXT, or fucking Shanghai Pro Wrestling. I want to see numbers good, because the more people that watch pro wrestling, the happier I am. So with that in mind, guys, thank you for watching. Share your thoughts down below in the comment section on NXT potentially moving to Tuesday nights. Again, I said the word potentially, so don't blow my brains out. So stay safe, stay well. This has been your boy LK with this LK Live Extra, and I'll be catching your asses down the line.